welcome back to the channel. Obviously today, now we've got a new bike, should I say. As you probably told by the picture on the thumbnail and stuff, obviously I had the KTM RC125, went from the Grom to that. I thought it would be fun, but it just wasn't. Yeah, it's quicker, it's the sports bike 125, but it's not worth that little bit of more speed. These are just way more fun. I had loads more fun on my old Grom than I ever did on the RC, which is why I only kept the RC125 about a month or two. So yeah, I basically brought another Honda Grom. Basically, it's all kitted out for stunting basically, and I have tried wheeling it like the other day. Did try wheeling it the other day. I got a bit of progression from when I first started trying to do it. I can get the front wheel up a bit now, but it's nothing like wheeling a pedal bike like I've done before. A bigger bike with more power, you get up to balance point a lot easier. It's just getting over the fear of launching this up in the air, and you've got to do it with that much force because it's so small that you feel like you're just going to absolutely send it off the bat, which you probably wouldn't, but it's getting it into your brain. Like I know from doing it on pedal bikes, it just takes time. But yeah, it's got all the crash protection anyway, even if you did drop it. But even if I don't continue doing wheelies, it's good to have this crash protection for like going off-roading on trails and stuff. It means all the plastics won't get damaged. It's got the zoom loop. It's a bit bashed there, but it's a zoom loop exhaust like I had on the old Grom. One of the best sounding ones for these bikes. A few other things, it's just got a few bits and bobs here and there. Basically, it's got a Kitaco cover there. Got a few random bits, like a flipping red, I'm guessing it's upgraded, spark plug lead. Needs a new spark plug because that's rusted to hell, that is. Got a dirty looking stem clamp, old as hell. It's got a basic handbrake setup, but never probably ever going to use that. Yeah, it's got, these are a bit of money to put on these rear cage things. Don't know how much that one would have been, but don't know. The worst part, that's another good point, the shifter. I quite like this direct to the shaft shifter. The only issue with them is obviously if you crash, you just bend the flipping shaft, then it's knackered, but that's what this should prevent as well. I need some new foot pegs, as you can see the other side as well. That one's not the original, but the springs are knackered as well, so I need some of them. The chain, that just looks dirty as hell, like it just looks disgusting. But I've got a new chain and sprocket kit on the way anyway, so that's all good. That's going to be sorted, and it's loose as fuck basically. But that's all going to be sorted. We're going standard size chain this time. Obviously on the old Grom I went bigger chain, thought it was going to be better, but as it turned out it wasn't better, it just made the bike slower. So we're going with the same size chain, just upgraded quality, and back sprocket with black light. It's basically the same as the last chain, but this size. Rear hugger needs to go back on. This Grom has got the common problem with these, which my old one was starting to develop, but wasn't this bad. I'm just rusting on the rear swing arm, but that's what they all get because it's cheap paint on these. It needs a new shock at some point because that's just been corroded to hell. But these are all bits you can do over the time, really. That's the fun part of this bike. It's already got the pro tapers on. It's got a bit of a taller pro tapers than my old Grom. But yeah, like I say, that's the fun part of these bikes. You can just do bits at a time. It's got the good Michelins for summer on. What are they, Pilot Sports or something? Power Pures, I think they are, instead of the City Grips, which I used to run. Can't fault the City Grips. Absolutely sound in a bit of damp weather, wet weather, sound tyres. Can't say the same for these, I don't know, I've never really rode them in the wet, but in the dry they seem to be holding up well. I've already banked the bike over quite a lot more than the last person getting round here. There's no really need to get any further than that. That's already quite a lot as it is, to be honest. I can get more than that, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's about building confidence in your tyre. I've never used these tyres, so I don't know how good they are. It's got one of these covers on, which apparently are 100 quid. I don't know myself, but yeah, we got one of them anyway. I don't really see the point of it, but it's got it. That's another thing I must say. The engine block on my old Grom was pristine. No stone chips or nothing. This one's got a few stone chips everywhere on it. But that's the beauty of it. This Grom, I won't be bothered about chucking it down the trail, down the dirt, nothing. This what it's for. It's for a rag around toy. It's got these weird looking cheap indicators on it, but it does the job to a point. Probably doesn't do the job because, like, who's going to see that? It's got the integrated rear light, just one of the cheap eBay ones. Yeah, again, I don't know who's going to see that. The rear guard thing's in the way, and they're just not that bright anyway. Got the tail tidy on there. Obviously number plate's not on there at the minute, that's on my seat, just for convenience of coming up here and the video purpose. The rear hugger mud guard thing, that's going to be going back on. I've got that, it's a bit chewed up for some reason, but I'll probably get a carbon one or something at some point. It's got the black plastics he's put on here, like that was on my old Grom. It's got a bit of the old Grom on it, not my actual one, but you know, you get the point. It's got standard seat, which I'm actually enjoying now. I'm not going to buy one of the bride seats again because this is so comfy compared to that bride seat. It's unbelievable. You sit a little bit lower, but this one's more worn in as well. I've still got the original from my old Grom. That's just a bit harder than this one, but it looks the exact same. Obviously moving up towards the bars, it's just got a few red bits all over it. It's got the 2-finger clutch, which needs adjusting because the amount of free play on that clutch is just ridiculous. Like, if you look down here at the actual clutch bit, like, that's all free play. That needs adjusting. Throttle, yes, I need some bar ends as well, but look at the free play on the throttle, that's just ridiculous. I don't know why no one's ever sorted that. Literally, you can just go down here, take that cover off and adjust the throttle free play. So I need to do that as well. There's just a few bits and bobs. The front brake, it virtually comes into your fingers and it doesn't do a good job because of that. I believe that's just because there's some air in the system, in the brake reservoir and the hose. So I've brought a bleed kit, just a cheap bleed kit to get that sorted. New brake fluid as well. We'll get that done this weekend hopefully. If that fails to fix it, then it will mean a new master cylinder, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It should be about 40 quid for one of them. Not the end of the world. Obviously we've got 2 brakes on the rear, 1 on the front, 2 piston on the front, 2 piston on the rear, including both. The back brake, it does do that thing where when you've used it, like I did for the wheelie practice, they do start to stick on again. That's just a common thing with them brakes. I think they're just cheap. And then if you don't free them off, you're going to get warping brakes. But that is just what you get. Does need a wash. General condition isn't the best, but I mean, what do you get with a cheaper bike? But yeah, it's just the frame. I'm gonna end up having to get a touch-up pen, I believe, just to touch up all these bits in there. But not the end of the world at all. We'll get a new swing arm at some point because I'm not a fan of this one. These chain adjusters I'm yet to use. They don't look great, but we'll find out. I mean, that peg is atrocious, but it does the job at the minute. Yeah, that's the bike. I failed to mention what it has got, but we'll leave that for another video, and I'll do a full video on that. But I'll put a clip in a minute of what that does. But that's all I'll say at the minute. I'll let you figure out what that is in particular. But yeah, that's it for now. I'll just do a quick blast on the way back on it, but that's about it.